steal our AI voice agent that calls every new lead within a microsecond. So in this video, we're going to be building an outbound calling system that qualifies leads whilst you sleep using NAN and VAPI. This is complete with workflow templates, system prompts, and step-by-step implementation. So again, what you'll be building today is you'll build an AI agent that makes outbound phone calls to qualifying leads automatically, right? So this is not theory. This literally is production-ready templates, setup guides, and standardized workflows that you can use. All you'll have to do is add in your APIs, adjust the nodes, copy the Excel spreadsheets, and set up your VAPI API. So by the end of this tutorial, you'll understand have a complete system for triggering automatically when leads submit a form, calling prospects with a natural conversation, extracting qualification data intelligently, and then logging everything to a spreadsheet. Best part here is everything you can set up is free, and let's go. So here are some real-world use cases for outbound AI calling. Lead qualification, right? So you can automatically call and qualify new form submissions before sales even touches them. You can extract the budget and timeline, pain points and intent, all logged before you first do the outreach. You can do a lead reactivation campaign, so you can re-engage cold leads from your database with personalized outreach, reflecting it's ideal perfectly for quarterly check-ins or requalifying old prospects who went dark. You can review collections, so you can call satisfied customers to request reviews, right? And then you can have survey feedback. So conduct post-purchase surveys, post-onboarding surveys. Even when a client or a new client signs up, you can trigger this AI outbound caller to call the lead to book them in for an onboarding call, right? Pretty cool. So again, for the sake of demonstration, I'll have my editor put a demonstration or a video up demonstrating the power of this product, whilst I'll just carry on walking through the presentation.
Morning. I'm Stephanie, an AI voice assistant from GoHighLevel University AI. I'm here to demonstrate how our voice assistant capabilities can help your business handle customer calls, book appointments, and so much more. To get started and personalize this demo for you, what's the name of your business?
Hey, it's Daily HVACs.
Great. Daily HVACs. I love it. Thanks for sharing that. Can you tell me a little about your business so I can personalize this demo? For example, what services do you typically offer, and what does a typical customer call look like for you?
Yeah, we got people inquiring about our services. We do typical HVAC services. We're just very busy on the weekend and we can't really take many calls.
Perfect. That makes total sense. HVAC is definitely a busy industry, especially on weekends when people need emergency repairs or seasonal tune-ups. So you're getting a lot of inbound calls that you're missing because your team is swamped. That's exactly what we can help with. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that info. This is a basic demo designed to show how our AI handles inbound calls for your business and books appointments. I can also handle outbound calls, two-way texting, Facebook and Instagram direct messages. There would be much more customization for your specific business, but let's dive in so you can see how your voice assistant could handle calls you might normally miss or need staff to take. I'm going to start the demo now, and I'll tell you when it's over. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Perfect. Here we go. Hello, and thank you for calling Daily HVACs. I'm Stephanie, Daily HVACs AI voice assistant. You can speak to me just like you would the team here. How can I help you today?
Yeah, I just want to learn more about your services.
Great question. We offer a full range of HVAC services, everything from routine maintenance and inspections to emergency repairs, system replacements, and seasonal tune-ups to keep your system running smoothly. To point you in the right direction, are you calling about a specific issue you're experiencing right now, or are you looking to schedule preventative maintenance?
Yeah, what's your price?
That's a fair question. Our pricing really depends on the specific service you need, whether it's a simple maintenance visit, a repair, or a full system replacement. Each job is a bit different. What I can do is get some details about what you're dealing with, and then one of our technicians can give you an accurate quote when we schedule your appointment. So are you experiencing an issue with your system right now, or is this...
In this demo, we'll have a form submission, right? So for the sakes of simplicity, we'll use the NAN one as opposed to GoHighLevel, GoHighLevel or any other high-level CRMs that you use, HubSpot, stuff like that. It will get, once the opt-in occurs, you'll get an instant call. There'll be natural dialogue, then based on the responses, it will log automatically, again, based on what you prompt. We use band, budget, authority, need, and timing. Or for here, for instance, you can use budget, urgency, experience, and intent. The entire conversation will feel natural, and the AI adapts to responses and handles interruptions clearly. Again, an example, let's say if you are a gardening business, right? This could be the types of qualifications that would occur. So build the blueprint before you build the automation. Before jumping into NAN and connecting nodes, map out your workflow at a high level. So you want to fundamentally understand the wireframing for this automation. And it's broken down into 5 steps. There's a form trigger. There is the ability to normalize the data. So you want to standardize phone calls to be consistently formatted within VAPI. You want to then call the data. So you want to send dynamic data to VAPI, initiate the outbound call. You want to poll for completion. So check your calls are done. Wait and loop until status ends. And then, of course, you want to log the results to check if answered or voicemails, then log all qualification. This mental model makes the technical implementation 10 times easier, and you always know which step you're building and why it matters. If this looks too complicated, again, there'll be a link in the description to apply to work with us if you want us to build these custom systems up for your business. Next, the complete NAN workflow architecture, right? So first, there's a form trigger node, then there's a code node for the data normalization, validation check, the HTTP request for your VAPI, polling loop, voicemail detection, Google Sheet logging. This is the simple wireframe for this NAN build, right? So form submission, standardize, check to see if it's correct. If it's not correct, log it. If it is correct, it will begin to call it. Make sure you have your VAPI API connected. It'll wait, all right, and then it will get the call details, limit, did it end, yes or no, did it go voicemail, did it poll, it did poll. Then it goes to here. If not, you log the voice note and you log the complete step. These are the 5 steps that you actually need to get it set up correctly. Right, you'll grab your API key from VAPI, add this prompt to your VAPI assistant. Again, it's in here. Connect a phone number in VAPI, right? So your specific assistant ID or your phone number, and then you connect the Google Sheet template as well. Final checks you want to run is that you want to have VAPI key is present in both required HTTP request nodes, assistant ID and phone number ID are correctly set up in call leads, as well as Google Sheet connection points to your copied template. Very simple, very easy. So standardizing phone numbers. Again, I'm going to go in depth in a little bit more about these points, right? Because mess up that could occur is phone numbers, right? What we've done is that you can essentially use a code node that standardizes every number. Here's a secret, right? You don't actually need to know how to code. I don't know how to code. My wife knows how to code. I don't know how to code. So I use Claude prompts that writes my code for me. So you essentially want to copy the incoming JSON from NA and paste it into Claude and use this specific prompt. Claude generates working JavaScript in one shot, copy and paste that into your code node, and then you're done. After the code node runs, an if statement checks if the output equals incorrect format. If yes, it'll log the error. If no, it'll proceed to call the lead. Simple, reliable, and pretty foolproof. Demo on how to set up your VAPI assistant, but if you're familiar with VAPI, it's very simple. It essentially is the brain of your calling operation. So this is where you define personality, conversational flow, and what data to extract. It's very simple. It's really simple. It's super simple, right? You essentially want to do these 4 things. You want to select the model. So use OpenAI GPT-4. Claude can work too, but GPT-4 handles interruptions and natural dialogue for voice. You want to then handle or move on to the first message behavior, which is essentially setting up the assistant to wait for users to speak first, right? Instead of just automatically speaking. You can also use VAPI's built-in Elliot's voice. We've tested a few options and pick one that matches your voice, your brand voice. Then you want an end call function. So you want to enable the predefined end call function so your assistants can terminate conversations gracefully when appropriate. So crafting the perfect system prompt. The system prompt is where the magic happens, to be honest. This is where you define your assistant's identity, conversational style, goals, and data extraction requirements. So if you want to get this right, and your calls feel natural and extract valuable insights, get it wrong, and you basically have a awkward, robust conversation. So identity and context, right? Give your assistant a name, obviously, and a bit more context. Style and response guidelines, right? So give them here an example of how you should define your clients or your assistant's communication: friendly, empathetic, rude, concise. Like, who are they? Dynamic prospect information. So you can use variables to inject real-time data. So obviously this gets replaced when the NAN triggers the lead. Again, you can even add custom values in here based on the opt-in form that you have. And last but not least, the conversational flow and required topics. So this lists exactly what data you need extracted. So is it interest? Is it urgency? Is it budget? Is it willingness to pay? Right? Your system prompt will evolve. All right. So obviously start with this template, then refine it over 10, 20 real calls, monitor the transcript, and then tweak phrasing and add guardrails if necessary. Cool. So once you've done that, you need a structured output, because the reality here is things get messy fast, especially if you're generating a lot of leads, or let's say you're doing a database reactivation with 100 leads at once. It's going to get messy. So the secret to this is clean data extraction. VAPI's structured output features replaces the old summary and success evaluation fields. Instead of hoping the AI formats data correctly, you essentially define exact fields it must populate. Think of it like a form the AI fills out every time every call happens. You specify the fill name, the data type, and what information goes there. So status, interest, motivations, urgency, past experience, budget, and paid intent. To set this up in VAPI, you go to structured outputs, add new name, and then set types as strings, and then you describe what you want extracted. Then link the output to your assistant, repeat for each data point, and so forth. Last but not least, making the VAPI API call from NAN, right? So now that you've connected everything using to VAPI using HTTP requests, you kind of want the VAPI API. And then the VAPI API documentations is pretty simple, and it makes it very straightforward to look and understand as well. So there are 4 steps in this. You want to get your VAPI API, right? So go into the VAPI dashboard, go to API keys, and then copy your private key. Don't share this. This is secret. Then you want to configure the HTTP request node. So the method is post. You want to copy in this URL link, and you want to make sure that authentication occurs. So you use the VAPI credentials you just created. And ultimately, you want to build the request body. So include the assistant ID, phone number ID, customer ID, assistant overrides as well. And last but not least, you want to inject dynamic variables in the assistant override. Map the forms, obviously, to map the form data to your prompt variables, obviously. So using VAPI's free number, you're essentially limited to a small number of daily calls. To scale this, you'll have to connect your own Twilio number and go from there. Sweet. So understanding the polling mechanism. Okay, so when you've created a call by VAPI's API, it immediately returns response. But that response only confirms calls when initiated. It doesn't include the transcript, structured outputs, or call duration. So you need to poll VAPI's API to check when the call actually ends and retrieve the data. So polling works essentially where you wait a period. So after initiating the call, it waits 60 seconds because most calls last at least a little bit longer if you're speaking to them. You check the status of the call, so make a GET request to call ID to retrieve the call status. If it's in progress, wait more, 10 seconds. If it's ended, if yes, proceed to extract structured outputs and log data, and if not, the loop will continue. The workflow essentially keeps checking into the status finally equals ends. This matters because without polling, your workflow would just try to log data before the call even finishes and resulting in some empty fields and errors. Polling ensures that you only proceed when complete and reliable data is available. Cool. Pro tip: adjust wait times based on your average call length. If your call typically lasts 2 minutes, start with a 60-second wait, 90-second wait initially to wait to reduce the unnecessary API calls. All right, handling voicemails and unanswered calls. Not every single call will reach a human. Sometimes you got double down, triple down, quadruple down. Sometimes you'll hit a voicemail. Right, your workflow needs to detect this and route accordingly. So you don't want to log a voicemail as a successful qualification. Right, so the way in which you do that is by checking ended reasons. You want to then also look into voicemail branches. So log into Google Sheets with statuses. Voicemail need follow up. This flags your leads for callback attempts, and then answer branches. Right, so extract structured outputs from the call artifacts. Map each field, so interest, motivation, urgency, and then you can log the status as complete. So this conditional logic ensures your data stays clean and your team knows which leads need immediate follow-ups versus which ones need a callback. So extracting structured outputs from the API response. So after the call actually ends and your polling loop exits, it's time to extract the gold. So your structured outputs is buried in VAPI's JSON response, but once you know where to look, it's straightforward. And then most important, right? Once you have that gold, you need to know where to put it in a treasure chest, right? Which is for us the Google Sheet, right? This becomes your single source of truth for lead qualification status, call outcomes, and next steps. So again, your sheet should include the basic lead form information, name, email, phone numbers, either company name, company role, initial request, company size, and so forth. Qualification data from the AI call could include service interest, motivations, urgency, timeline, past experiences, budget range, paid intent, and sort of status, whether it was completed, voicemail, or error. Set as in voice in NAN, use the Google Sheet node in appended row mode, and map each field from your workflow to the corresponding columns. The template we're providing has this pre-configured. You just need to get your Google account. Add a timestamp column so you can track when calls happen, and also consider a follow-up to column that calculates based on urgency extracted from the call. The right way to use AI voice agent, right, is to always disclose AI identity, always offer that human escalation, right? If someone's frustrated that you speak to an AI, try and offer a human escalation. Respect do not call lists, do not call them, do not go past the ND, and secure personal data, right? So your Google Sheet contains personal information. And then there are a couple more things, right? So when you do encounter errors, which let's face it, most automation systems and AI workflows, you tend to encounter issues. This is for me where I go to my wife and ask her these questions, but for you maybe join our coaching calls and me and my wife can help resolve those questions for you. Even with a solid workflow, you'll hit snags, and here's how you diagnose and fix those common issues. First, phone number format errors, right? So the symptoms here is that VAPI returns invalid numbers, which is fine. The fix here is to check your code node output, so ensuring that it's exactly 10 digits from no special characters, test with multiple numbers, and format to catch edge cases. Second is polling loop, never exists, right? So workflows run forever, never log any data, and the fix here is to check if your if conditions is reading the correct JSON path for status, right? So make sure you add a manual break condition after 20 loops to prevent infinite runs. Now 3 is empty structured outputs, right? So symptoms include Google Sheet logs, completed but all qualification fields are blank. Number 4, daily call limit exceeding, right? So VAPI returns errors about outbound call limits. So if you're using VAPI's free number, you're simply capped at 10 calls a day. Connect your own Twilio number and make sure you've got a card on there as well. API authentication failure is probably the last one, where essentially you get 401 unauthorized errors, which essentially means you just got to regenerate your VAPI API key and update it in your end-to-end credentials, allowing you and ensuring using bearer token or oath types, not header oath. So that's it, guys. This is everything that you can get. Essentially, feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. Join our coaching calls. Again, we're here to help you guys out. And if you want to discuss and build it, again, links in the description to learn how you can work with us. Thank you very much. Hope this was helpful. And I'll see you on the flip side. Thank you.